Hey guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Before we begin this video, I just want to thank you guys because in a very short time, like around 30 days, we have reached 73 subscribers from zero, and this has been incredible and totally unexpected for the both of us. So yeah, from the bottom of both of our hearts, I think thank you so much for the love you've showered on us, and please continue to support us, and please let us know in all your comments. We read all of your comments. Let us know, what you like about our videos, what you don't like about our videos, where you agree with us, where you don't agree with us. And yeah, just like, share, and subscribe as always. So without further ado, I think I'll start off today's topic, which is hustle culture and what you should do about it. So I think this is a pretty popular phrase, especially among Gen Z people. I think you see it all over social networking apps that, hey, hustle, you gotta hustle if you want to earn money, or work hard, play hard, and hustle. I guess 9 to 5 is not good enough, and so on and so forth. So I think Sharvari, as a Gen Z person, what is your take on this phenomena? How much do you think a young woman or a man in their 20s should work? And yeah, what is your take on the entire situation? Enlighten us.
So thanks a lot, Sharang. I also want to thank all of our subscribers and audience for getting us till 73. It's amazing, and the both of us are really surprised at how we achieved this in literally under a month. So thanks a lot for the love you've been giving to us and the channel in general. Coming to the topic, so I am a fellow Gen Z person, and I have been hearing this word, hustle culture. It's relatively new. Like I would say it's kind of emerged between the last 5 to 6 years. At least I have been hearing it from that time. So I would want to put a very controversial point out there, because people nowadays, when you talk to anyone, they're like, you need to hustle in your 20s. You need to have the hustle mindset. So let's come to, what does hustle exactly mean? So having a hustle mindset kind of means that you tie your productivity with your success. And then it can be any goal that you have. For example, you're chasing money, or you're achieving anything in general in life. But somewhere the definition of hustle has become so that you overwork yourself, or you work towards your full potential. So while that is a good concept to have, that is working to your own potential, there are many
Sorry to cut you off,
yeah, sure.
but so sorry to cut you off. But is the hustle same thing as grind, or are those two different things?
They are actually used synonymously.
Okay,
So
okay,
they
because I
are
hear that
both.
too as well, and I'm not on social networking apps to the same extent, so I'm always confused. So yeah, thank you for enlightening us, and sorry for the interruption, and please continue.
No, that's okay. Like, this is a discussion, so you can butt in
Yeah.
anytime. It's okay.
Okay.
So as I was mentioning, they are used synonymously. So hustle, grind, these are words that are used in the same context. But nowadays, hustle language is seen commonly on LinkedIn a lot. So when you go on
Okay.
LinkedIn, you log into it, you see people having, this phrase you might have heard, the 5 a.m. club. There's a book by the same name, actually. So the 5 a.m. club means that you kind of get up early in the morning at 5 a.m., then you do your exercise and you have this whole packed routine. Okay. While that is
Okay.
good to be in routine, it also kind
Mm.
of emphasizes overworking yourself. And that is what I
Mm.
mean by hustle culture. So
Mm-hmm.
tips and tricks to make yourself successful in, say, 30 days, in 60 days. Now, my first point on negating this would be, why does every, goal need to be on such a strict timeline? So I know that we follow the SMART goal technique. A goal should always be time bound, but
Mm.
time bound has to be reasonable after all.
Okay.
So for example, if you are working on a particular project, if you can do it in 30 days, but you're going to keep your mental health and personal relationships, work-life balance intact, then why not
Mm-hmm.
take 60 days? I'm not talking about your corporate work, but I'm saying goals that you set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose you're writing a book and you're like,
Right.
I need to complete this book by the month of April. Make it May. It's fine.
Right.
But don't
Okay.
overwork yourself, because what happens in the hustle culture nowadays is people completely lose track of who they are as humans. They literally go
Mhm.
into the grind so much. They're in that strict routine. They're just doing one activity after the other. And you kind of lose sense of what life is or what is the meaning of living life. I have a great movie anecdote for this. So for our international audience, I don't know how many people watch Bollywood movies, but I think Bollywood people might have this movie that you guys know called Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. So the character played by Hrithik Roshan in this movie is he's a banker, he's an investment banker who's working in London, and he's in the grind continuously 24/7. But he needs a vacation, and when he gets out of that hustle mentality, he actually discovers who he is as a person. He can cook, so that's a hobby that he hasn't explored, and he hasn't given
Mhm.
himself the time to get back to those things. So that is
Right.
why I am not at all a fan of this so-called hustle culture. I like to keep my mental health intact completely. I take time for self-care, not doing it too much again. If anything in excess would be bad. But managing my work life, managing my personal relationships as well, and also maintaining a healthy work-life balance and not at all indulging in hustle culture is what is my take on this. You can maybe add yours, Shara.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for your contribution, Charvari. And I think I think one of the reasons why this channel works is that we are in some sense like I'm a man, you're a woman, you're a Gen Z person. I guess you could say I'm a millennial. So and we have completely or pretty different personalities, and I think so. This is one of the reasons why I value your input, and I think why your input has been invaluable in helping this channel grow. So with that aside, yeah, so like about the hustle culture, right? I have like a very economic argument in some sense because if you're working for an employer, right, their job is to get as much work as possible from you for the least amount of money. So at the end of the day, and like I've worked in one company, but I've seen enough companies to know that this is the structure of companies. So that's where their economic interests lie. So where your economic interest should lie ideally is how do I get the maximum amount of money for the least amount of effort? I'm not saying be lazy at your work, right? Do your job, do it well, do it properly, but never ever let yourself get exploited by your employer, right? And so another thing is like will working yourself into the ground truly make you happy? And is that like is the goal of life just to be in some sense a beast of burden? To just continuously involve yourself in the endless cycle of repetitive work. And again, I would refer to the Bhagavad Gita, right? Because the Bhagavad Gita talks about Purusharth. Purusharth means that what is the ultimate purpose of life or goal of life, right? And it says that there are four components to this Purusharth, right? One is Dharma. So, Dharma is your duty. So, when you look deep within your own conscience, what the call to action of your own conscience, the path, the morally correct path that you are asked and called to follow, that is Dharma. Second one is Artha. Artha is building wealth and prosperity for yourself and your family, right? And as with everything else, there is a law of diminishing returns which applies to money as well. Being poor is horrible, but once the poverty is eliminated, your happiness does not scale linearly with time. So if you have $1 million, you feel X amount of happiness. It's not like if you have $1 billion, you feel X into 1,000 amount of happiness. That's not how happiness works.
Hmm.
Once you have enough to satisfy your basic needs, more money on top of that doesn't, and a little bit for leisure and enjoyment, more money on top of that doesn't necessarily make you happier. So earn enough money to provide a good life for yourself and your family, but beyond that, just remember it won't necessarily make you happy. Third one is calm. Now, calm means enjoying all the rasas of life, rasas such as good food, drink, sex, etc. So this is the third aspect, and this is also important because Hinduism doesn't tell you to completely disconnect yourself from pleasure. Pleasure is also an important part of life. This is dharma, artha, kama, and then ultimately there's moksha.
Mhm.
Because when you're engaged in all of these things, you should always remember that there is something beyond this. There is a transcendent, there's something divine beyond this. And you cannot if you're just stuck in this endless loop of artha, and money is all you think about, then in some sense you're trapped. You're trapped in your own mind. and you're unable to see that there's so much more profound to life than this. And with this is what I've learned from the Bhagavad Gita, and this is what I try to inculcate in my own self. I try to be healthy. I try to be good in body and mind. I try to enjoy the pleasures that life brings me, and I try to work because that also fulfills me. And with this, I end my. You can. Is this a monologue? I guess it's a monologue. And
I
hand it
think
over
it
to you.
could be your opinion, but yeah, I mean, when I think about what the both of us put on the table right now, I think in this regard we have the same view, is
Yeah.
that not making your work your life or not immersing yourself completely in work so much that you're always chasing, money or success all the time, but making work a part of your life and also enjoying the other pleasures that life gives you, like good friendships, a relationship, good food, and things like that. So I think, yeah, in this regard, we actually have the same opinion to put on the table. Except my
Mhm.
way of explaining it might have been pretty psychological or kind of, in a straightforward manner, whereas you quoted it a bit philosophically, is what I think.
Yeah, could
So,
be.
yeah. So I guess, yeah, but hustle culture is a real thing nowadays. And I mean, I don't want to preach anything on this channel because everyone, of course, has their own opinion. So you are entitled to your own opinion. Like we are entitled to our own opinion. But I think people nowadays have lost sight of who they are somewhere. And because they always, this somewhere started from a young age, because competition was something that was always taught to us growing up. At least this happened in my circle when we were growing up.
Yeah, all Asians, most Asians.
Sorry?
Most Asians, I would say, most
Yeah,
Asians were like,
exactly. Exactly. So it's like a thing. That's why maybe this became our mindset. And when you enter your 20s, you're, of course, in this whole new world. And you're kind
yeah,
of still maybe competing against each other. But now the concepts are like money or fame or, stability and things like that. While these are also good, you should also ensure that you take care of yourself and have a better self-image.
mm,
And then I think this topic would trail back to self-esteem and self-image, I believe.
yeah.
So yeah.
And I think this hustle culture, right? Like, I think particularly for women, it tells a very wrong message. And what do I mean by that, right? So you take young women who are in their 20s, in the prime of their life, right?
Yeah.
And you tell them, hey, your career is the only thing that matters. There'll be time for kids and marriage later. Who cares? Your career is your everything, right? And then they get from 20 to 30 and they realize, hey, but this job hasn't fulfilled me in the same way. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying career fulfills men, right? It doesn't fulfill
Right.
men either. Most men doesn't fulfill. Maybe a small percentage of people might be fulfilled, but ultimately we find true happiness from human connections, right? Not a job. And so the problem is a lot of women always want to have kids and they think, 30s mein dekh lenge, in my 30s I can always manage it. But unfortunately for women, their fertility is significantly lower in their 30s as opposed to their 20s. And this doesn't happen for men. So I think, of course, both men and women should, in my humble opinion, should focus on having a family and building long-term stable relationships. But the cost of this, unfortunately, that women have to pay is greater, in my opinion, because a man's fertility declines after 40, not after 30. So yeah, would
Right.
you like to add something, Sarvari?
Yeah, just the fact that, I had read somewhere that, yeah, it is true that, aage ka socho, think about the
Hmm.
future, but is pal mein bhi raho. So like also stay in the present. So I think
Hmm.
this ties closely somewhere to the hustle culture, that you're thinking about the future all the time, but somewhere you forget to live in the present.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a good place to end the video, I guess.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I think thank you so much for your time, Sharvari, and thank you all of you guys for showering us with your love. I'll say it again, and we really appreciate it. As always, continue to like, share, and subscribe, guys, because 90% of you around you watch our videos, but you don't press the subscribe button. So please, please, please do it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for your time, Sharvari.
Thank you, Sharang, and thanks to our audience for being so patient with us as we discuss 20s topics. And yeah, you guys can let us know if there's anything you would like us to cover or make videos about. And we can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.